Welcome to the Business Owner Spotlights. I'm your host, Stephanie Scheller. My goal with these is to bring amazing business owners, smart business owners, who not just have a cool business to share, but also have some serious knowledge to break down as well. The coolest thing for me about these Business Owner Spotlights has been the amount of amazing people I've gotten to connect with. You guys would not even believe how my circle has gotten to grow and change. I would totally encourage you to check out all the spotlights. And hey, if you know someone who would be a great match, go below, grab my contact information, and send them over. I would love to connect with them. Right now, I have a phenomenal, this is someone, so Logan, if you saw his spotlight, referred me to talk to Adam. And so I've got Adam here. And now, Adam, I believe you actually have two businesses. Am I remembering that correctly?
Correct.
Two businesses. So what do you do over there?
So I have a real estate brokerage. We do residential and commercial. And then I also am a partner in basically an IT company. We're a reseller of hardware and software for network and data security.
Oh, nice. I've got a client who does that, so I'm finally beginning to understand how detailed that business is. So how did you did you wake up and go, hey, I decided I want to be an entrepreneur? Or how did you end up traveling to that role?
Right. So I was actually, I went to school at UT in Austin. I was primarily pre-med. And so I knew a lot of doctors, privately, and I shadowed them just to kind of learn and grow. And a lot of those doctors told me, hey, make sure you understand business. Because a lot of us are, we make good money, but we're slaves to our practices. So understand business. So as I started kind of learning business, in school is when I decided to kind of double major. I also started reading business books, and I came across, the classic Rich Dad Poor Dad, some other books, and also that summer, one particular summer, I lived with another student who at UT. His dad was an entrepreneur. He was kind of an entrepreneur, and so it kind of was like the moons aligning and stuff. Where I kind of discovered, I have this entrepreneurship spirit inside of me, and it just started uncovering year by year.
So you kind of got your own rich dad.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I actually had a revelation today that I realized, up to all my life, I've always thought, oh, well, I changed careers and I changed. And then I was like, I didn't. Everything led me to this, but yours was a much more direct path led to the
right. Exactly. And it was funny because, as I discovered I was more of an entrepreneur, it's like, okay, I decided not to be a doctor. I still took the MCAT, still did well on the test and everything. But I said, you know what? I want to go the business route. I'll do something entrepreneurial in the medical field later on.
Wow.
So what's funny is immediately, though, after college, I did sales and marketing for Microsoft and Oracle, so which is software companies, and then eventually when I moved back to San Antonio, I got involved in real estate. So it's kind of funny that the second company I have now kind of brings me back into the technical,
to the tech world.
Yeah.
Real estate and tech are two of the best industries to be in if you want to become wealthy.
Yeah. So in terms of my time, though, I primarily spend the majority of my time in the real estate business.
And was it Rich Dad Poor Dad that made you say, hey, I want to go start my own brokerage? Or
so when I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, I discovered I had an interest in investing, the investing side of real estate. And so when I was in Austin, I said, this is what I ultimately want. So I started doing some things just to kind of try to get in the game. So I started attending different clubs, seminars, and then I wanted to try to, as we coined the term, wholesaling properties, things of that nature. So I was doing that in Austin for a bit. Then I decided to, my parents live here in San Antonio, so I decided to come to San Antonio and try to do the same thing. And I, again, going back to Rich Dads, I ended up wholesaling a property to two guys. They were just starting an investment firm, and I was just in awe. They were doing 10 to 12 flips, rehabs every single month. They had a lot of cash. They were just busy making things happen.
That's high volume.
Yeah, and it was when the market was bottom. So it was really good for investors. It was like 2009, 2010. And I looked at them and I said, man, there's no way I'm going to learn what I can learn from them on my own. It's going to take me forever. So I said I need to do whatever I can do to hook up with these guys, hitch my wagon to them and just learn. And so I started, calling in sick some days and going with these guys and say, hey, let me just literally follow you for a whole day. And just see what you do, how you evaluate things, how you look at properties. Like I don't have to say anything. I just want to watch what you guys do. And after a while, I realized I hated the corporate structure. And so literally the Friday before I got married, I quit my job. Okay. Yeah.
Was your wife behind this, or did you come home?
Okay. First of all, I wasn't married yet, so I didn't tell my wife yet. All right. So we get married. We go on a week-long honeymoon to the Bahamas. We get back, okay, and then we get back, and then the very first day we're back, I have a meeting with these guys, and I said, look, I would love the opportunity to work for you guys, help build this company. And there's two guys. One was older, one was younger. The younger guy was like, I'm all for it. The older guy was like, let's try things out. Let's try to do some things, let's rethink things in maybe 30 to 45 days, see how things go. And he goes, but just so I know, if we did want to hire you, when would you be able to start? And I said, today. I quit my job last Friday. And he goes, well.
You're crazy.
He goes, well, the universe works in mysterious ways. I guess we got to get you a phone. And right then we went to the Verizon store, got me a cell phone, and started working with them. And I'll say this, I worked with them for 2 years. It was very tough financially because I took a huge pay cut to work for them. But to this day, it's some of the most fun and the best knowledge I've ever gained at anything I've ever done. And to this day, what I learned during those 2 years working with them, seeing how they grew a business from the grassroots, seeing everything from the investment side, it still pays me and pays other families, so on and so forth to this day.
I'm so blown away at this point. That's freaking awesome. Have you ever read anything by Richard Branson?
No.
Okay, so his big motto is "Screw it, let's do it." I feel like that just sums up everything you just told me. That's amazing. Holy cow. I'm having a hard time refocusing here. That was a really fun story to listen to. So what was, when you started, so you were working with them, but now you have your own?
So eventually the company started blowing up. And after about 2 years, they pretty much they were mentors of mine. The first guy was a millionaire in the insurance industry. He sold his business prior. The other guy, I don't think he was a millionaire, but he was successful, had several pest control businesses, things like that. And so after about 2 years, the company was growing, we were bringing other people, and they pretty much looked at me and said, hey, Adam, one, you're like us, you're an entrepreneur, so you need to go do your own thing. And two, we're not going to pay you what you're worth. And so they literally slowly kind of pushed me out the door. And I was like, no, don't let me go. I can help. We can do
through this.
Yeah, when we did 100 homes, I was like, we can do 200. I can help. Trust me, I can do this. I can do that. And they were like, no. And I was literally like, what am I gonna do? Like, this is what I've been doing for the last 2 years. And I didn't know which direction I wanted to go. And one of them just said, hey, why don't you just get your real estate license, because some of these investors want to buy properties that we don't have, so you can help them go find something else. And I was kind of hesitant at first, and it's funny how things were. I was like, but if I do, I'm only going to work with investors. I don't want to do what I call frou real estate. I don't want to be talking about what kind of cabinets and countertops. I'm about the numbers and the deal, and let's go build some wealth. And as I started doing it, it just kind of took off from there. I was initially working with mostly investors, but then I found that I love helping, the same way I loved helping an investor find the right deal to meet his goals. I also loved helping buyers and sellers meet their goals. And so I decided to get into real estate, work for brokerage. The first brokerage I worked there for 3 months. And then I looked around and said, is that all you're going to teach me? So then I went to a different brokerage, and after about a month, I said, "Is no one going to teach me anything?" And so I said, "Okay, forget this." And so then I decided to, after about 2 years, fast forward a little bit, and I decided to start my own team, and we've kind of been just taking off since then.
Yeah, finding a good broker can be like finding a good lawyer.
Yeah.
So, wow. So then how long ago did you branch out on your own?
So
Completely on your own.
yeah. Once I left those initial first two brokerages, I actually went and joined a real estate team because I said, just like I did before, I need to see more volume. I need to see more action. So I joined a team that was doing a good amount of consistent business, so I could learn and I primarily work with buyers. But then what ended up happening was the owners of that team and that brokerage focus started to kind of shift a little bit. And I went to them and said, "Hey, I want to start building my own team. I don't want to wait 2 years or 4 years for myself to be a real broker. I want to start building a team myself." And they allowed me to. But then pretty much in 2014, my team was doing more business than they were. And so they pretty much, so we kind of worked on an agreement. And they said, "Look, we're going to go to the Northwest and kind of change what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you just kind of, take the reins and run things here in San Antonio?" So I said, "Okay." And in the very first month, I let all the agents go, like 7, 8 agents. We had an office in the Dominion that was too much overhead. Let that go. And so just make changes, rebranded, all this kind of stuff. So
you really shook things up. Like you're just done. You're like, why wait around? Like,
well, you if you pay attention, you can know what's working and what's not working. And so I knew there was a reason why I was doing more business than 7 other agents. And so, like you said, it was more about just making the appropriate, changes to how to get back on the right path.
That's awesome. What were some of the challenges that you ended up coming up against that ever made you sit there and think about, oh, dear Lord, do I really want to do this? And how did you get past them?
The biggest challenge for me, being fully transparent, was figuring out how to consistently spend time bringing new business in, right? So that my income did not fluctuate just up and down from month to month. Yeah. That was the initial biggest challenge, especially because now I was married. I was trying to support my family. And so it was very difficult because a lot of the things that you hear in terms of being an entrepreneur or being a realtor, it's all great showing houses and stuff, but what they don't tell you is you might have 2 clients this month, but if you spend all your time with those 2 clients, you might not have nothing for next month. And then if you don't spend any time with those clients, you might not close a deal, you might not get referrals, your level of service suffers as well. So it was really trying to navigate, like, man, how do I build a business, do sales, essentially wear all the hats that I need to wear all at the same time. And so it wasn't until I started adding more structure, which I never would have thought was the key. It wasn't until I started adding more structure to my schedule, to my routines, that I started seeing better results.
And it's funny you bring that up because cannot tell you how many, especially in real estate, I get all of these agents who come to me for advice and then argue with me when I'm like, you need to structure and strategize and organize. And they're like, no, Stephanie, you don't understand my industry and I have to be at the beck and call. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm not a realtor, so I'm not going to sit here and try and persuade you that I do, but you came to me for advice. So why did you waste my time?
I've made more money after I put a voicemail on my phone that says, if you call me, I'll call you back. But if you call me after 6, just expect to get a call the next day because I'll be able to spend time with my family. I made more money after that than I ever did when I was 24/7, call me anytime, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, and this is where I'm reading a book. It's on the other side of the room, and I'm not Elastigirl, so I can't go grab it. But I'm reading a book called All Marketers Tell Stories right now, and he talks about that. He says, what story are you putting out and who are you attracting, right? You get a different type of clientele than those guys who are out there, hustling 24/7. I got to meet, I'm trying to remember his name. He's one of the $1 million buyer guys, and I got to meet him earlier this year, and Josh Flagg, is that one? I don't know if you know him.
Oh yeah, the millionaire listing. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. And so he was talking about, he was like, honestly, because everyone was like, well, how did you get from little stuff to big stuff? And he said, I didn't mess with the little stuff. I just went straight to saying, hey, you know what? I'm the bomb and you're going to pay me. He was like, and I was like, that's great. Put out the right message. You get the right people back. I thought it was kind of cool. So as I ramble over here, I know we're kind of already coming up on our 20-minute mark already. So I do want to hear, I heard from Logan that you have an amazing piece of business advice. What is your best piece of business advice for other business owners?
Just one? No.
Well, I've had people give me as many as 3. So if you want to break the record.
I'll just kind of split it up a little bit. So I would say number 1 would be find a mentor, find someone who's successful doing what you're doing, either in your area or out. Doesn't really matter, but shorten that learning curve. You know, why take 3 years to figure out the nuances of your industry or your position or, you know, whatever the case may be. Shorten that learning curve. So get a mentor, get someone successful that you can bounce ideas off of, that you can learn, watch, see what moves they make, see how you can implement those things in your business. That's number 1. And then number 2, have some type of structure or accountability. So, you know, if you're in sales, you know, have some accountability. Did you make, you know, how many sales calls did you make this week? Okay, you didn't make them, you didn't make them. That's nice to tell it to yourself, but have someone else hold you accountable so that you know you have someone else to report to. And it's a lot easier to tell someone else that you didn't do something or tell yourself that you didn't do something than tell someone else. So.
Yeah, and by the way, for the listeners out there, I did not plant that, okay? I don't think he's been following me. He doesn't know that I talk about that all the time. So I'm just going to say, if it's coming up again, it's probably important. Just saying. Okay, off my soapbox. But no, I totally agree. I love both of those. I could talk forever on that one, but I think those were awesome. Adam, I know you've got a lot going on. Thanks for taking time to chat with me.
No, thank you for the invitation. It was a great time.
Awesome. Well, so for our listeners out there, come on, wasn't that worth it? You got to laugh. I don't know, maybe you got to cry, whatever. That was an awesome interview. And I want to encourage you guys, please go down below. Do me a favor. If you know somebody like Adam, please connect me with them, because the hardest part about doing these interviews is finding the right people to do an interview with, because I can sit here and say, hey, I'm spotlighting business owners who don't get a lot of attention all I want to. If I don't actually know who I need to go to, it's really tough. So please do me a favor, go below, grab my contact info, send it over. And Adam's given me permission to share some of his contact info too. So if you want to connect with him for more information, or maybe to buy a house, you can go ahead, get below, connect with him. In the meantime, you have a great future ahead of you. Remember, it took me years to believe that about everyone, but what I've learned is that everyone has the potential. The question is if you're going to live up to it, and there's only one person who can answer that question, and that's you. That's it, guys. It's time to stop aiming for the target. It's time to stop trying to hit it. It's time to smash it. Go out there, make it a great week.